Today, a 37-year-old divorced Christian mother says she's not looking for a man right now. Kevin Samuel schools her on marriage and Christianity.
Kevin,
Hey,
Mr. Samuel, sorry, can you hear me?
I can now. What you got for me, sis? What did I get
Oh,
wrong?
sorry. Sorry
No
about
problem.
that.
No
So,
problem.
I feel like you're spot on from what you told the young lady earlier, and that's what I was trying to explain to Sarah. I'm pretty new. Y'all asked me to come up on the panel the other day, um,
Okay.
but I decided to go ahead and come up today. And I was trying to explain to Sarah that sometimes people just need someone to be a straight shooter,
Mm,
and I hopefully that lady was young enough to where she can go ahead and make a change.
all right. Well, I mean, I don't think I don't have any malicious intent.
Right.
And I'll put it this way: I'm a cancer survivor. And when I got my diagnosis back, one of the first questions I asked him was uh, the remission rates and the prognosis. And I respect them that they didn't lie to me because you got to make real choices. And the situation that she was in, well, we're all in, is that if we have the information, the truth, then we can make choices. So
Oh,
that's what it is. So
well,
thank you.
congratulations to you. God bless you for going through that.
So what's your name in the chat room was what? Is it
Tiffany
Tiffany
Chanel.
Tiffany Chanel? Okay, okay. I saw
Mhm.
people talking to you the
I'm
other
the
day.
one that came in the chat, and I was so excited about the topic of being over 30 and
Mm,
and
mm.
single, and yeah, that was me.
So are you over 30?
I am.
Are you looking to get married yourself?
I've been married. Currently, I'm not looking to get married.
Are you looking for an LTR? Long term
What's that?
relationship? Long term relationship?
Oh, not currently. I'm currently not looking for a long-term relationship, but I'm open to friendship, and if that leads to a long-term friendship, that would be great.
Now that is curious to me. I'm gonna tell you why I'm curious.
Okay.
As a divorcee myself, there was a cooling off period.
Hmm.
Uh, but most women I know don't want to die alone.
Yeah,
Are we saying that you just want to go through the rest of life unattached?
that's a good question. I don't think I'm saying the rest of life unattached. I just think um, I'm finally able to focus on other things outside of relationship.
Okay.
um, things that are important to me, my career, um, my household, my daughter. And
Okay.
so, yeah,
How old is your daughter?
my daughter will be 4 in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Um, well, everybody comes to it at a different point. But one thing I would love to hear more black women be able to do
Hmm.
is to be able to have healthy relationships. Because here's what I hear more often when I hear from black women,
Hmm.
or women in general, black women in particular. When I ask you if you want to be in a relationship, it's still comparing it against the negative versus the positive, what it can be. I mean, you got a 4-year old, and you may have a great career, but it's always easier in life to go through it with support, help. So why not have support, help, healthy, happy relationships versus nothing?
That's actually a beautiful point. My parents have been married for 48 years. My grandparents were married for over 65 years
Do you want
before
that?
they transitioned. And
Do you,
they're happy, and it's beautiful.
do you
And
want
I
that?
think, oh, so if that exists for me,
See,
yes.
see,
But if
see,
it does
see. There it
not,
goes. There it goes.
that's okay.
Okay, okay. There it goes. You came from 65 years and 48 years. If it exists for you,
Mhm.
why if you come from 65 and 48, why would it not exist for you?
No, meaning if it exists for me,
I know.
it
Why would
exists
it
for
not
them.
exist? I know. That's why I said why. could it not exist for you?
I think, whatever God's plan is, I- I'm I want to be that person that's open to what God has for me and not try to chase after something.
Okay, so are you a Christian?
I am.
Are you a practicing Christian?
When you say practicing, what do you mean?
Are
Like,
you living? Are you living in accordance to the Christian? Are you living by the Bible?
yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right.
Now,
So
am I perfect?
no,
No,
none
only
of us are
Christ is.
perfect. None of us are
Yeah.
perfect. But I ran the singles ministry in 3 churches I was in,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, and there's nothing in the Bible where God has anything about a spouse. This is a natural choice.
Okay.
In the black community, we put this off as a spiritual matter. Like I'm living I have a show about 3 weeks ago where I had a woman. I actually know her pastor,
Hmm.
and she kept on talking about how she's a good Christian woman. And I asked her, and at the end of the day, go back and watch the show. It's actually highlighted.
Okay.
Oftentimes, black women get to a point to where I'm just being honest. You don't believe it's possible. I don't believe it's possible. It was what your grandparents and your parents had. That time is over. The world is different. So now God is my husband.
Oh no, that's not. If
I say,
nah.
I'm not saying you.
It,
I'm saying oftentimes that becomes black women because,
oh no. Yeah, that's not good.
well, no, that's why I said if 65 years and 48 years, you have good role models. The
Hmm.
world has not changed. Human beings are still the same.
Yep.
And I hate this. I hate to hear when people have had bad experiences and to think, well, I'm just going to leave it in God's hands. God don't work that way, sis. That has never been God's way. Marriage is a natural choice because if it worked that way, then God will be responsible for your. Were you married? Were you married to your daughter's father? Her daughter's father? Hello.
Okay, I can hear you now. So
I said, were you
yes,
married to your daughter's
we
father?
were married.
Okay,
Yes.
so if it worked the way you're talking, God would be responsible for your divorce.
I think man has their own will, man and woman,
Right.
mankind.
So great. So saying work. So what you're saying is not. Then that contradicts it. You're waiting for what God has for you, but then you say man and woman have their own will. That
Hmm.
means
God has his God has his perfect will for your life.
right, but
And
none of that has to do with picking a spouse.
I think that has to do with everything.
No, you can think that, but there's nothing in the tenets of Christianity. You sit down with your pastor, and if he's actually went to seminary, he'll tell you you have an incorrect interpretation of the gospel. Man, I taught for many years in singles ministry, and I was been married. That's an incorrect interpretation that oftentimes black women have. Marriage is a natural choice, not a spiritual.
Marriage is a choice. I do
Mm.
believe that in
Yes.
every aspect of your life, God has his perfect will for you. That's in your
Mhm.
career.
Does he have his perfect will for Adam and Eve?
He did. And then they
Did
made a
Adam
choice.
did they have their own? Did they have their own will?
Absolutely. And
Did they
he's
act in
not going to
accordance with it?
override your will.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So
I
when we
think
put
we agree, Kevin. We
well,
agree.
we agree up to the point to where
Or
we
Mr.
put
Samuel. Sorry, I don't know
no
what
no
you want
no
me to
Kevin is
call you.
cool. We agree to the point to where we push this off onto God's perfect will for us. That is where I wholeheartedly disagree, and that is where you first came. I said, "What about this?" And you said, "I'm going to let God have it in His time." No, man, that's not how it works.
I guess my goal is I don't want women to think that if they're not getting a man, it's something always wrong with them. Sometimes it's just their choice, and that's okay.
Okay, well, if you're a Christian, what is a woman's purpose?
I believe a woman and a man's purpose is to serve and honor the Lord with their lives.
Okay, I asked a very specific question.
Hmm.
You're a Christian. What is a woman's purpose?
A woman's purpose is to serve the Lord with her life,
That is not
how
a
she
woman.
lives her
That
life
is not a woman's.
honoring God.
That is not a woman's purpose, according to
Okay.
Christianity or the Bible. It's very clear. A woman's
Are you
purpose is to.
talking about submitting to husband and
No, a
husband
woman's
submit
purpose is
to?
to be helpmeet to man. Your
Oh, be
purpose
the
is
helpmate.
your
Okay,
purpose. Your a
I
woman's
understand that.
okay. So in the simple terms, a woman's purpose is man in Christianity. You have no purpose without a man here. If you did, God could have easily created Eve before Adam. God gave Adam the commandments and he put him in charge of the garden. He spoke to Adam. Did God ever speak to Eve?
Adam was in authority, so he spoke to Adam. Correct.
Right.
Eve
So,
was the helpmate. He pulled her from his
exactly.
rib so that
So
she could
you
walk
said you
side
don't
by
want
side
women
with
to
him.
think you don't want women to think that you don't want women to think opposite of what it is you say you believe.
No, I don't want women to think that there's something wrong with them always. There can be things that are wrong, but it's not always that is something wrong with a woman, and it's not always that there's something wrong
Well,
with a
ma'am,
man.
but the thing is, hold on, but this whole wrong, what is a woman's purpose on the planet? Okay, how about this? How about this, Nicole? Tiffany, can a woman
Yeah.
survive on the planet by herself?
Well, I've seen it happen.
Where?
So
Where?
if you
Where?
asking for,
Where? 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 Where?
I've seen single women live and be single until they're older and
Hold
they
on. So let's
transition.
stop. You've seen a woman take care of and provide for herself.
Yes,
Did she build her own shelter?
yes, built her house.
She built her own home.
Hmm.
Did she actually run the plumbing to that home?
Oh, I see. Like hiring people, or did she run the plumbing?
Come on,
I don't
Tiffany.
know.
What I'm
She may
saying,
have hired a
what I'm saying.
plumber.
That's why I asked you very definitely. See, oftentimes women use Christianity as convenient Christians. A woman's purpose is a man. No two ways about it. Women cannot survive without men. You're not physically capable. You don't have the strength. Your body's not built for it. You cannot do it. So to say women can survive without men is telling women the wrong thing. And as a Christian, that's why I asked if you're a Christian, you're actually telling women something that goes opposite to what you say you believe.
Do you think a woman should enter in a relationship and stay if a man is abusive?
What does that have to do with Christianity?
My point is that some women have had this
Well,
happen.
okay, but
Do we
Tiffany,
tell her to stay with a
Tiffany,
man because that's her
due
purpose?
respect, Tiffany, I could pull out, we could go that tit for tat all night. We really could.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be. I
What
just
I'm
don't
not
want
okay
women to think something's
what
wrong.
I'm not okay with is Christian women telling women that they don't need a man. I'm not okay with that. If you're a Christian woman and you say you're living according to the Bible, then there's no way you can say that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say, oh, you don't need a man, do everything by yourself. What I'm saying is, don't feel bad and feel like you're doing something wrong if you're currently not with a man. It's okay. Maybe one day, but maybe not today. And it's
Maybe
okay.
one, but okay, but hold up. Okay, maybe one day, but maybe not today. But who is that woman under? Who is she submitting to?
Well, she needs to be submitting to the Lord.
Right. But if who's covering that woman when she's by herself? Because her father because here's how
The
you
angels.
and you know what? And the extension of God is my husband. See, no matter how you slice it, that's still your position.
Well, I
And
think
this
God
is
is
this
my
is
everything.
well,
God is
that's
my
fine, but he is
everything.
but see, this is not. But even T.D. Jakes, he used to get angry with with the members of his church because too often women were taking this bastardization of Christianity and actually making this a problem. Often T.D. Jakes actually said in the church, "Do not go quote me in your house to your husband." And how
Yeah, I
often
love Bishop Jakes.
well, exactly. And
He's
how
awesome.
often women misinterpret the scripture because it's not your place. See, if you're a Christian woman, you know your purpose is a man. Everything God has told you is in conjunction with a man. So what you're saying is opposite to Christianity. That is worldly. That's why I asked you initially, are you a Christian living according to the tenets? And you're
I
not.
am.
But you can't be and hold these positions. You're living you're living in opposition to God's will for man and woman. Simple as that.
No.
Go ask your pastor. Go ask
My
anybody.
dad is my pastor.
Okay, and what does he tell you?
So we're raised in a house where it's husband and wife, and
Exactly.
my mom is his helpmate.
Okay,
So
but what
yeah,
is your
my
what is your
dad.
what does he tell you a woman's purpose is?
Yeah, so I see people saying that I'm using God as an excuse, and
I don't care about the
that's
chat
not
room.
my
Tiffany,
heart's
look at
desire, and I didn't come on here for that.
Tiffany. Don't look at the chat room. You and I are
Yeah, I
having a
didn't come
conversation.
on here to be
Well,
bashed. I
but
came on
who are
here
you? Hold
because
on,
I
Tiffany.
appreciate your
Who is
platform.
bashing? Tiffany, listen. You've not been bashed by me. Don't look at the chat room. You and I are having a conversation that can benefit women. Have I been disrespectful to you?
No, not at all.
Have I been rude to you?
No.
So what do
No,
you?
I don't
There's
I don't
nothing to.
think you're a rude person. I listen to
So
what you say to the ladies, and I believe you're trying to help them.
what I'm saying is you focus here. And all I'm doing is questioning what it is you say because let me tell you the problem I have with some of the things you said. Far too often, black women are uncoupled because of a misunderstanding of Christian doctrine. And that's why I asked, what does your pastor say? Because if you're a Christian, you're supposed to be in submission to someone, a
Yeah.
father, a husband, even in a holding, men of the church somewhere. Women are not.
My pastor says that a man should not be without a wife, and that the
And,
wife is to be the helpmate, and that the wife is to submit to the husband, and the husband also submit to the
but you
wife, but the
said you
Bible
don't want
says
women to
submit to
think
one
that there's
another.
something wrong with her if she's not with the man, and that's just
Because I think there's a lot of pressure on
as it
individuals, women
should
and
be,
men.
as it should be. As it if you're a
And I
Christian,
think sometimes, Mr. Samuel,
hold on, ma'am.
okay,
As it
okay.
should be if you're a Christian. You don't have to be a Christian. We chose to be Christians. And we don't get to select the parts of the doctrine in the Bible we choose to follow. That is a new thing with all this prosperity preaching. Everything I've asked you, ma'am, 65 years with your grandparents, 48 years with your parents, your father is your pastor. And every question that I've asked you to actually get you to define something, you've slid away because you didn't want to answer specifically what you and I both know to be the truth that you say you
Well,
believe.
no, I answered to you what my dad has said as my pastor. And he did say that man should not live without a wife, and the wife should submit to the husband should submit.
I'm sure when you and your ex chose to divorce, he probably also counseled you both.
Hmm.
And he counseled you on divorce.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
But we
But
also had other
I,
Christian counselors outside the
but
church too.
ultimately, I asked you earlier, do you want to marry a long term relationship? And at the end of the day, man, what it really comes down to, it is a dangerous thing to tell women that you don't need men because what it is what you're saying. You do need us. You
I
need
don't
us.
think I would tell a woman that she doesn't need a man. What I would
Well,
tell a woman is not to feel, don't come down on yourself if you're not yet married. I'd say the same thing to a man. Don't come down on yourself if you're not yet married.
Okay, but who? Okay, if you're not yet married,
Hmm.
but is there a clock on that?
So I think with a biological clock for men and women, it could be because if a woman doesn't have her baby by the age of 35, 36, she's considered high risk. If a man doesn't have his child by his mid 40s, he's considered high risk.
Okay, let me
He
ask
can
you. Let me
actually
ask you a
produce a
very
child
defining
with.
question about marriage. Why?
Sure.
What is the purpose? Why do we marry?
Well, you marry to reproduce, to bring children into the world, to raise them in the admonition of the Lord.
That's one reason. But what else?
I would think to raise productive citizens in society,
Okay.
to keep your seed, to keep your legacy going.
Right. So you can. So you can do none of that as an individual. Certainly can't do anything as an individual Christian.
Oh, it looks like people are saying, why am I up here if I'm talking about other people?
I don't
Because
care
that's
about.
all I.
Could you please stop looking and see? I don't
Okay,
understand
sorry.
why you are doing that. I mean, I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and I'm not looking there, and it's my show. Well, it
Okay,
sounds as though you're more
I'll respect
concerned.
that. Let me hide the chat.
How about
Let me just
that?
hide them.
How
Okay.
about you just because what you see? We're Christians. We chose to be that. So I cannot sit there and say I agree that you're saying that a woman should not feel bad that she's not married or whatever. At some point, you
Hmm.
need to have a husband if you're a Christian. Your
Yeah, I mean, the
purpose,
Bible says that,
your
right? The
purpose.
Bible
Yes,
says a
because
man should not live without a wife. A woman
exactly.
should not
So
live without a
so
man.
what
That's
we
in the
say. So
Bible.
what we're saying. What you ultimately said is you didn't want women to feel something wrong. There is something wrong if you're a Christian and don't have a husband. At some point, you don't. You a
I
woman.
just don't want people
It
to
doesn't
come
matter,
down on
ma'am. You're a
themselves if it
Christian,
hasn't happened.
ma'am. I'll just say this. Now move on to the next call. Tiffany, your father's a pastor. You,
Yes.
what you want is in direct conflict with your belief system. That's for you to sort out. But I'm just knowing, just understand, according to Christianity, you're 100% incorrect. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong to have it, but you're wrong as a Christian and you know it.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm being misunderstood because I'm
No, I
not saying that
understand.
a man and a wife shouldn't be together. I'm
I
just
understand.
saying that
I
give
understand.
yourself time to get to know people. Don't rush it.
I understand that
You rush
Christian.
it, you might end up divorced like
Well,
me.
no. Well, but okay. No, you rush, you might end up divorced. No, I don't give you that because if you get married for not love, you get married for very practical reasons, spiritual reasons, Christian reasons. See, back in the day, we used to do this. A lot of this Hallmark love stuff, your feelings and all this other stuff did not matter. You got married because of children, legacy, things, and you fell in love with your spouse. And the
You want to
church,
build something.
hold on. And the church did not move the way the world did. Today, the church has become far too worldly, and this is what's in the church. This is why so many you're a church going woman. You see how many men are no longer in church? Why do you think so many men are not in church? Because they're tired of hearing Christian women talk like this. You have Christian women speaking in contravenance to Christianity. That is why men are leaving the church. That is why pastors are actually telling their female flock, do not speak this way. Do not say these things. But yet, black women, black Christian women are some of the most stubborn, hard-headed people on the planet because at the end of the day, it's your faith and it's God is the person you're going up to. But at the end of the day, nothing in God's word, nothing in God's appointed men on earth, nothing God has said is what you women are talking about.
Yeah,
That's why
so
people in the chat room will talk. That's why people
I
in the
think
chat room.
Kevin, I think you and I actually agree. I think we're agreeing, to be honest with you. A man should not be alone, right? That's in God's word. A woman should be the helpmate to the man, submit to the man. The man should honor and love the wife just as Christ loved the church. We agree on that. All I'm saying is don't come down on yourself if it hasn't happened for you yet. if you want to find love, you can and will find love. But
Okay, first
don't
off, ma'am,
beat
first off,
yourself
let
up
me
if
stop you.
you
Let me stop you
haven't.
right there. Let me stop you right there.
Hmm.
The last thing you just said had nothing to do with Christianity. And I repeat, don't come down on yourself if you haven't found love. You
Or should
will
I say,
find,
if you haven't found your spouse?
but
Let me change that.
no, ma'am. You've said it 3 times, and that's the point. You still are conflating love and marriage. That's why I've
Well,
asked
the
you what.
Bible says that. The Bible
No, it
says the
is does
husband should love
not.
the wife as Christ loved the
But that
church.
is
That's
not the
love.
purpose of marriage. It is not romantic love.
I'm not
Hold
talking
on,
about
hold on, Tiffany.
romantic love. I'm talking about the
No, no,
God
no, no, no,
kind
no.
of love,
Tiffany.
the
The man should
agape
love
love.
the man should love his wife like God, like Jesus loved the church. That's agape,
Agape love. I
which
keep
is
saying
not
that.
romantic love. You're talking about eros.
I didn't say anything about romance. I
Well,
never said the word
but
romance.
the love you're talking about is romantic love. Don't come down on yourself. You have not found love. Selfless love, agape, has nothing to
No,
do with.
that
Okay,
the
I
Christ-like
am not
love.
new, Tiffany. I'm not new to
I think
this.
we agree,
We
Kevin.
here's
We
the,
agree.
we do agree, except for one thing. A woman's purpose on the planet is a man. That is your sole
Is a
purpose.
man's purpose a woman? Like,
That
what
is
would be a man's purpose?
a man. That is your purpose. Worry about your purpose. See, you want to win an intellectual battle. Your purpose is a man. That's it. And then this is that
And the
Western.
man's purpose is to honor God.
Hold on. I deal with your purpose. See, what you're doing right now has nothing to do with Christianity or anything else. It is an ego battle. Why are you? What is a man? What is a man's purpose? What does it matter if you're a woman? What is your purpose?
So that everyone
What
can
is a woman's
understand.
what is a woman's purpose? See, too many Western women, especially our black women, you're out of position.
The Bible says, "Follow me as I follow Christ." So as the woman is, the husband's leading the household, he's leading the woman and the children as he follows Christ.
And that does not change what I said.
That's what I'm saying. We agree.
Well,
We're not arguing.
we agree if she's married. If you're unmarried, you're uncovered. You're not following anybody. You're following yourself. That's what I've been asking. As a single woman, who are you following?
As a single woman,
You're
I'm
following
accountable to
God.
my pastors, and I'm following the
Exactly.
Lord.
You're following your pastor who is your father. But your father already has a charge. Ma'am, single women, divorced women, let's not play games. You're uncovered. And there's provision there, but there's a time
There's
frame on that.
definitely provision there.
But you're not supposed to live life uncovered as a Christian woman.
I
And there's
agree. Men should have wives should have husbands.
if you're not
But
supposed to
such is
live
life. Shout out to the single parents.
no shout out to single parents. I don't shout out single parents. No, especially Christian ones.
Yeah,
It's not
well,
about love. It's
it's
not a
sad
it's
when you become a single parent, but you do
no,
what you
it's
got to.
not sad when you become a single. It's sad when you choose to be a single Christian parent and live in contravention to the thing you say you believe. That's when it's sad because how did that happen? See, here's what I find troubling about this conversation. I don't know how that means. You're a woman who was raised with a 60, almost 70-year marriage and an almost 50-year marriage and a father who's a pastor. And I'm getting this level of pushback. And you're supposed to be one of the good ones. What about the women who
I
weren't
hope I'm
raised?
a good one.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, ma'am. There are some things that are extremely troubling about what it is you say you believe, and that's the problem a lot of black men have. This is a woman who says her grandparents were married for 65 years. Her parents are married for 48 years. Her father is her pastor, yet she's divorced and telling women don't feel bad if you don't fall in love or have a man or whatever you want to come out. And all the stuff you're talking about does not line up with what it is you say you believe, yet that's what you say you're putting in ahead of you trying to help you find a husband. It's going to be on God. And everything I've done is used exactly what you said to show you that you're in contradiction, but you're still going to hold on to it. Because here's the real problem, Tiffany. Too many black women like yourself are just hard-headed and can't nobody tell you nothing.
Goodness. I'm pretty okay.
You said your dad. Okay.
You and I are probably the same age.
I don't. And what does that have to do with anything?
You don't hear those words hard-headed unless it's like a parent talking
How old
to
are
a
you?
child. I'm 37.
I'm 51.
You look good.
And even if I was 36, I'm still a man.
Yep.
And if you're a Christian, you know what that means. So I don't understand what me saying something you know is to be. That's why I wanted to have this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I think we are. I
It was
think we
a good
agree more
conversation
than
because what I
disagree.
think what you're gonna see is they're gonna be. I'm a patient person. I'm a learned person, but I know what I believe and why I believe it. And here's the thing: if it is this difficult for a well-intended black man to even get a woman who says she's well-intended to just agree with me on what it is you say you believe, how the hell are black men and women supposed to figure it out and stay together 48 and 65 years? It ain't
I
gonna
do
happen.
agree with you. I keep telling you we're on
No,
the same
ma'am, you
page here.
don't. We no, we no, ma'am. If this is agreement, I hate to see disagreement. If you think this is on a one accord, I hate to see discord. Just because you're not cursing and calling me out of my names, you're not in
I
agreement.
wouldn't do that.
Exactly, but it does not change the fact that you're still in opposition to what it is you say you believe. And I don't even have to get that's why I didn't get into your personal life and why you're not this. I don't want it. It does not matter. This is a
Yeah.
global issue with black men and black women. There should not be this amount of acrimony, especially with people who raise their hand and volunteered to be Christians. No one forced us to be Christians. No one forced us to live
Right.
our lives in accordance. That's why I asked you very specific questions. You say your father is your pastor. You are supposed to be agreeing with me. There's not supposed, when I ask you what a woman's purpose is, it shouldn't be all this. It's a man to be a helpmeet. I mean, this is
Yep.
supposed to be real easy for Christian women.
To be a helpmeet, to cover him, I agree.
All right.
I do agree with that.
Well, okay. Well, it's good to say with our mouths, but when we live it with our lives, there's not this amount of acrimony. But I thank you for calling in. I
Yeah.
do.
You're 37, divorced, and you have a daughter. So let's start with reality, not fantasy. Having a lot of options doesn't mean those options are the men you actually want. Men choose differently at your age bracket. The men you're aiming for, the successful, disciplined, high-performing men, they're not looking for women in their late 30s with prior obligations. They're choosing younger, child-free, more flexible women because they can. That's the marketplace. This isn't about your character, it's about leverage men value youth, femininity, cooperation, and simplicity. When you're divorced with a child, the requirements for a man go up, not down. He has to accept responsibility, risk, and history he didn't create.